Welcome to the Aligned Powerhouse, the podcast for executive women who are done leading from burnout and ready to rise from alignment. I'm your host, Dr. Brittany McGeehan, licensed psychologist, high performance and mindset coach, and guide for high achieving women who are ready to lead, live, and love without abandoning themselves. Here, we unpack the nervous system truths, mindset shifts, and emotional patterns that drive your leadership so you can build power from the inside out. Let's get into it. Alrighty, guys. Hello. I will not lie. I am feeling a little bit nervous about today's episode because today we're going to talk about something that I have a little bit of an unpopular opinion on, and that is the advantage that is actually given when you are the only woman in a room. And my unpopular opinion is that most women waste this opportunity. Okay. So if you're still listening, grab a journal and let's jump in, okay? Because I am going to be handing you insights and observations that I have made from women who are operating where the air is the absolute thinnest up in this higher echelon, right? And how you can leverage some of this, okay? Because the reality is that you are absolutely being watched more closely than the men around you. Okay, you are not paranoid. There is data, and it is not only a cost. It's not only a negative. There's also a lot of advantage here. And this is the difference between the high performers that I see who just skyrocket their careers and their personal lives versus the ones who get stuck and they plateau and eventually they drop off from whatever it is that they said that they were out to do, okay? The difference is they know how to leverage things that at one point have been handed to them as a challenge, okay? So every woman that I work with at the top of the finance world knows this in her bones. She gets remembered for the things that her male peers get forgiven for, okay? What almost none of them have done, except for the elite few, is ask the obvious follow-up question: if I am being watched more closely, what does that make possible? I'm going to say that again because it is a reframe I want you to anchor into and take away from today's episode. There's going to be good stuff, so y'all keep listening, but this really is the heart of what I want to hand you and what I've been reflecting on this week, which is, if I am being watched more closely, what does that make possible? Do you see this reframe here? Right? What I hear over and over again from women is that we are in a male-dominated industry and this makes everything harder. I'm not fighting that. There is real data and research here that has been done for decades. What I am saying is that there's another side to this coin. And if you learn how to leverage that and even invite this into your consciousness, it's going to be a game changer. Okay? So I am going to name the 2 traps that heightened visibility pushes nearly every woman into, and then show you how to convert the same visibility into an edge that your peers structurally, they don't have access to. They cannot have this. Okay. So let's really let's not soften this. There again has been research that has been clear for a minimum of 50 years, okay, that when you are the only one of your kind in a room, you experience what is called heightened visibility. So your actions are more noticed, they are remembered longer, and they are generalized from a more free place, right? Oh, you're doing that because you are a woman. You are fill in the blank, okay? This has been documented, tried and true. So yes, it is true. Your mistakes are going to cost you more in this room. But here's the half that nobody actually talks about, which is the same mechanism that punishes your errors is also going to amplify your wins. Okay, your signal is going to travel farther, and everyone in this conversation has focused exclusively on the first half. And I think that that has a time and a place, okay? But this podcast is here to help you elevate. It is here to help you push. And so if you're not ready for that, then this just isn't the episode for you, right? So here are the two traps that I want you to watch. When you're feeling this level of scrutiny, there are two default responses that I see, and both of these are incredibly expensive, okay? The first is the shrink. You show up over prepared. You overqualify. You bring 12 slides where your counterpart is going to bring a sentence, and you're going to soften your claim so that it can't be attacked. And guys, this is something that I work on in my work as well, right? I say from my perspective, and I give all of these qualifiers. Like, as women, we are trained to do this, okay? But here's the reality is that underneath all of this, you're trying to be unimpeachable. And the cost is that you're never actually memorable and you look uncertain about your own read, okay? Over preparation reads as insecurity and not rigor. The second trap I see is armor. You go hard. You come in hot, okay? You match the loudest energy in the room and you never show a crack or a weakness. And listen, like, it works until it costs you every relationship that actually would have carried you even higher, because the armor is actually also keeping out support along with the threat, okay? So both traps you are going to be paying a tax on, and another one gets to collect on it, okay? So here's the reframe. If you are going to be watched more closely, no matter what you do, then return on precision is higher for you than for anyone else in the room. So let's play it out, okay? Your peers can be sloppy and forgettable, and it costs them very little. Your accuracy, your steadiness under pressure, your called shot, those land harder and travel farther precisely because you are literally the one that people are already looking at, okay? The attention is already being spent on you. The question is really, what are you going to make them watch? Now, let's play this out a little bit, okay? A senior woman on a trading desk, of course I'm changing details here, came to me convinced that she needed to be more aggressive in order to be taken seriously in her industry. She was the only woman in her seat, and she felt it constantly with the jokes, with the this, with the that, and with the amount of feedback that she was receiving, right? But when I watched how she was actually operating, when we really got into the weeds, aggression really wasn't the gap here. Her gap was actually that she got buried. She buried her best calls in qualification, okay? So she would have the sharpest read in the meeting and she would open with, "This might be nothing, but," and completely deflated every word that came after that before she even finished her sentence. So we literally changed exactly one thing. And she stopped hedging when she gave her openings. She stated her read flat, and then she stopped talking and she waited. And literally within a quarter, this woman was being asked for her view first instead of last, and she wasn't being laughed at or copped at or ignored, not because she got louder or she changed anything, but literally just because she stopped apologizing for her read and for being right, and she was already the most watched person in the room. All we did was leverage that, okay? And I will tell you the element underneath this, and like the neuropsychology, the nerdiness underneath here is that when we did that, when I was able to support this woman in simply seeing that something that she viewed as a negative, as a challenge, was actually an opportunity, we literally brought her from her limbic system, that survival part of your brain that operates lower and operates in survival, fight or flight, that is going to cause you to qualify every word out of your mouth. When I was able to help her see, if we have their attention, then they're going to pay attention when you get it right, all of a sudden her prefrontal cortex came online. She was able to regulate. She was able to sit with her shoulders back just a little bit, right? And when this happened, she was able to just give a direct read on what she saw. My take on this is that is the game changer, okay? When you are communicating in a room, you are communicating in commanding trust. You can't do that from a dysregulated nervous system. If you see the challenge in front of you, that you are the only woman in the room, as being something to leverage, and that is an opportunity. I don't know how to say this without sounding like really manipulative, but I am just like, you can run circles around those men if you truly understand what it takes to control the room. And those are the facts, okay? So here's what I want you to do. Here's your challenge of the week, all right? Pull out your notes here. First is I want you to go ahead and take an audit of all your hedges. So I want you to record and transcribe yourself in one meeting this week, maybe it's two, and count the qualifiers, meaning I might be wrong, but, or just, or does that make sense, or sorry. Okay, the number is probably going to surprise you. Second is I want you to identify your trap. Are you shrinking? Are you pulling back? Are you over preparing? Or are you armoring up and you're coming in hot and like, I'm not even going to give you a chance to hurt me because I'm coming in so walled off. Okay. Again, this one you probably already have the answer to. Third is now I want you to practice cut the opening hedge. Okay. So I want you to state the read as a statement and then let the silence do the work. And in your mind, I actually want you counting to 60. Now, I will tell you that if this is a skill that you are not as used to and you are used to pushing and over preparing 10 times as much as the man sitting next to you, then like you're gonna have to really practice this behind closed doors. Okay. And then the last is I want you to get out there and like actually do it in real life. So again, what I want to leave you with is that, yes, they are already watching. Yes, the stakes are already higher. So stop performing and give them something to watch, because what an absolute gift it is to have attention. And that is what being one of one in a room gives you. All right. I hope this was helpful and I will see you next week. Alrighty, friend, that is all for today's episode of the Aligned Powerhouse podcast. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And do me a favor, if this episode resonated, I want you to share it with another powerhouse woman in your life who is ready to lead and love from a place of self-trust. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a quick rating or review. It really does help more women find this work. New episodes drop every week. Until then, lead with self-trust and let yourself be seen.